Next segment. I'm going to do some more difficult thinning. I have to prepare the edges very well. And be more careful about looking for convexity. Yeah. I could be very, very careful throughout the whole process, but it's mentally fatiguing for me to be very, very careful in the beginning. It's like, you know, running a race. I've got to pace myself in the beginning and not strain my brain too much. And yeah, sometimes I get disappointed by not making the perfect flakes, but oh well. I'd rather be less stressed toward the end and less fatigued with, you know, some defects than trying to be perfect the whole way. And who knows how it's going to end up. I could try to be perfect the whole way and it still doesn't work right. Because it just might snap in half or something. Still, even with a lot of care and the attempt to do really good flakes, you can still snap the whole thing in half. I'm scooping it out too much. Okay. Let me see. Let me think here. Or let me not think too much. Yeah, I'm supposed to be narrating, but I find it very difficult sometimes to narrate during certain stages. This is a critical time in this reduction. So I'm going to take a pause from narrating. I know it doesn't make much sense. I should be narrating during these times so you can kind of know how to do it. But it's one of the difficulties in Flintknapping. That could mess everything up. I could just break it in half trying to explain to you how to do stuff at the critical stages. And then no one learns anything. Okay. Dang it. It doesn't always work to try to power through step fractures. Sometimes you can power through those with a thick flake. Yeah. But you need a lot of meat in the biface. Not quite enough meat to do what I wanted in that case. See, it's kind of chattery. And it's starting to crush on the edges because it is getting thinner. It's the kind of dacite that's kind of crushy. It's turning out to be that kind of dacite. Okay. It's not all like this. Yeah, that's unfortunate. That is a result of crushing from a hard hit, or incipient cracks from a hard hit. All right, let's see. Okay. That did work. Okay, good. Kind of dicey. Because I could have overshot. But see how I scooped it out? Hopefully I didn't scoop it out too much. See that? It wants to dive, so it's got to be relatively thick. Yeah. So I don't mess it up. I've got to keep it relatively thick. Unless I make it more narrow, then I can make it thinner. But I'm going to try to preserve the width as much as I can. Man, something's bugging my allergies. We just had rain last night, so it might have stirred something up. So to speak. Activated some mold, maybe? I don't know. My nose is going crazy. Yeah. That's not too bad. Let me measure it. Let's see. I know I lost a lot of width, a lot of length. So now it is 6 5/8. It was 8 and something, right? Yeah. But yeah, like I said, I lost a lot of it because I'm trying to make a symmetrical double-pointed blade. Well, a symmetrical one. A double point lends itself to maximizing the length. It's the symmetry in this case that caused a lot of loss on the length. Especially on the tip, I think, because the tip was off. It's still a bit off. But I'm going to bring it back in a little bit, which means I'm going to lose just a little bit more off the tip, or I can remove a lot more off of this side, and then I don't have to remove from the tip. We'll see. Let's get the file. Where is it? This allows better contact with the percussion flaker. when I smooth it out more, because these flakes are going to have to be a lot more careful now. It's getting thinner and thinner. But I still want bold flakes. I'm exerting more mental effort now. Still not able to avoid mistakes. Okay. I'm still doing opportunistic knapping instead of trying to prepare the edge for each flake. But as this progresses, it looks like I'm going to have to be a lot more careful with each flake. Yeah. And the opportunistic ones have got to be really good opportunities, or I'm not going to take it. In the earlier stages, the opportunities don't need to be that good. You can still live with the result. But yeah, this stage, okay. Any loss of energy and I end up step fracturing. I think I can get that out later. There is a step fracture there. That's okay. Let's see. It's not too bad. It's going to be scooping. Dang it. The ending of the flake wants to dive. Yeah. I think I'm right at the limit of my ability on this width. Yeah. It's not a good place to be because it'll end up being all nasty. So gotta lose the width to make it look better in the middle. To make it look better in the middle, I gotta lose some of this width on these flakes that I'm gonna be removing. The edge is still pretty wonky. Yeah. I'm going to try to get rid of that wonkiness while I'm thinning it. Try to. Yeah, that's usually the goal, but I might have to just do it separately. Do a lot of thinning, bold thinning, and then take care of the wonkiness later. Instead of trying to do both at the same time. Dang it. Yeah. See, I'm trying to remove a large flake and work on symmetry, but it might not work. Might have to just work on symmetry first and then the longer flakes, or the longer flakes first and then the symmetry. We'll see. And it switches around too, because the approach can change with changing circumstances. I might start working on the symmetry and find that I'm removing too much width, so I can switch back to removing these longer flakes while I have the width, that sort of thing. These longer flakes require a lot of force. A lot of force removes a lot of edge. I gotta keep that in mind. I have a tendency to try to do more than one thing at a time. Thin it and reduce the wonkiness of the edges. It's not gonna want to do it. Well, it wants to be tough. Usually this flakes easily until you start getting into the nitty-gritty of the thinning, and then it wants to be tough and not flake well. What I mean by it acts tough is sometimes what you think can remove a flake doesn't do it. And you have to exert more force than what you think. That's what I mean when it thinks it's tough. That means I'm having to exert more force than I think I should. Or, yeah, then more force for the same kind of flakes. Why that is, I don't know. Just gotta go with it. If it wants more force, I guess I just gotta do it. It could be because I'm trying to do too much inward flaking to try to thin it. Yeah. Almost. Dang it. Okay. I don't see any good opportunities. I gotta admit that I'm depending on some luck here. That was lucky. There's still a little bit of a step there, but I'm gonna leave it and not push my luck. Oh, come on. I gotta remember to breathe properly too. I was talking to my daughter about that. She has the same issue whenever she's working on something. She forgets to breathe. Yeah, she does crafts also, just not flint knapping. But yeah, she forgets to breathe. I forget to breathe properly when I'm doing this. So sometimes I'm suffocating myself during the stressful portions. Sometimes I'll breathe in deeply and it sounds like a frustration, but it's sometimes because I know that I've been holding my breath. So I gotta take a deep breath before I do something difficult. And difficult in knowing the angle. And how much force to apply. Let's see if I can do this. Trying to run a longish flake into that area. We'll see. It might not work. Yeah, there it is. Luckies. It could have gone catastrophically wrong by overshooting, but it didn't. See how it terminated right there? It could have overshot anywhere where there's a ridge leading toward the edge. It almost did it right there. See, sometimes they can continue down a ridge and overshoot and take out a bite. But it didn't. So that's what I consider good luck. Something catastrophic could have happened but didn't. Alright. That's one definition of good luck. That's not the only one. But I like that definition better than skill meeting opportunity. Okay. Let's see if that one worked. Yeah, I barely got away with that one. Again, it's lucky. Something catastrophic could have happened, but didn't. I just can't depend too much on those. But I do have to get a few. So that thinned that area down quite a bit. That was good. Now I can take care of that mess. I gotta remove a lot of this anyway, so I have room to run flakes in there and get rid of that. Yeah. Right, I gotta take off that side for the symmetry. And while I'm here, I abrade other areas. I'm going to be taking flakes off of both sides as the opportunities present themselves. Hopefully no bad luck. This overshoots easily. Yeah. Obsidian in general can overshoot easily. I don't want that to happen. Ah, come on. It wants to act tough. It wants me to hit harder than I want to. Yes. Alright, so I got rid of that mess. Get rid of some of that mess. Move the edge more this way to get rid of this mess. Still not moved enough that way. Okay. Yeah, like that. No, not like that. See, it's trying to make me hit harder than I want to. Just use a minimum amount of force. Even if it doesn't give me results that are all that great, I'd rather have results that are not all that great than snapping this thing. So yeah, if I use more force, I could possibly generate longer flakes that might look a little better, but I'd rather have it look not too good than broken. Yeah. Alright, so I think that's it for the final thinning. Now I just got to dress up the edges and make it more symmetrical and sharpen it. Dressing up the edges means getting rid of all that waviness. It's just subtle waviness now. It's not major waviness. I could take out a lot of that with pressure flaking. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a smaller percussion flaker, maybe. Yes? I don't know. Let's see. I'm already used to this percussion flaker. I might just continue with it to get rid of these lumps along the edge. There's still lumpy spots, especially down here. Yes? Okay. No. Yeah, like that. Yeah, see, that's not so hard. Haha. Tiptoe. Gotta tiptoe through the tulips. My goodness. I can just feel the the way it wants to crush. It wants to crush a lot. Why did I not thin the tip earlier? Well, sometimes it's not too good of an idea to thin the tip early, because it may, the rest of the blade may be off a little bit, so you want some room. Yeah, I often tell you to make sure you thin the tip a lot, or thin the base a lot, but in some cases thinning it too much reduces your ability to make corrections. Luckily, I didn't have to make any corrections. So I should have taken this down thinner earlier instead of waiting till now, because now it's more risky to hit it with percussion. But I think that's it for the secondary thinning, or the final thinning, right? The rest is just pressure flaking. Yeah, I can finish it out with pressure flaking, including the symmetry, or, you know, very light percussion with a thinner rod. With the 5/16 inch rod, I can finish it out with percussion or pressure. So that's it. Let me clean up here and measure it and all that. I think I'm gonna go to bed early because my nose is really stuffy. Get a lot of sleep for tomorrow. That way I'll feel better. Usually sleep helps with the allergies quite a bit. Okay, so that's it. Let me measure it. Six and 5/8 by a little over 2.5. So I'm going to do the width to thickness ratio. This is 65 millimeters by 65 by, what is that? 7 millimeters by 65. What is that? 9 to 1. 9 times 7 is 63. Man, I can't think either. Whatever that is, it's pretty thin for a material that crushes easily on the edges. Yeah, I wouldn't want to go any thinner than that. And I did lose a lot of length because of the fact that it wasn't symmetrical. So to produce a symmetrical point, I lost a bunch. And also to thin it from the ends, it's much easier, especially when it's kind of narrow, to thin from the ends, but you lose length. Especially the tip. In the beginning I was thinning from the tip because it was very, very thick, comparatively speaking. Compared to the width, it was very thick. Alright. In hindsight, I could have taken it down around the edges a lot more and then thinned it. If I had more of this material, I might have done that, or I might do that with the next one. But I don't have any more of this material in a large piece. So that was it for this. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to show it on video, but I'm going to take this down a little bit, make it symmetrical, and then sharpen it up, offer it in the auction. Maybe I'll put some barbs on it, maybe. I am going to lose some of the ratio because I'll lose width without thinning the middle. As I sharpen it and reduce the wonkiness, I am going to lose width, so it will not retain the width to thickness ratio. Now, if I don't sharpen it here and only sharpen it up there, yeah, I can maintain that width to thickness ratio. But I'm going to sharpen it all the way around. I think. I could make a blade out of it by leaving this alone and only sharpen this up here, like Central American blades back in the day. They sharpened this end. This was the business end, and you held it down here. We'll see. But for now, that's it. Okay? All right.